Hello everyone, in this video I will be showing you how to get all of the achievements in Heart of Fear which count towards the glory of the Pandarian Raider achievement. If you've already done some of these achievements, then you can use the menu on screen to get to the one that you need, and you can also watch parts 1 and 2 for Therese and Mogushan Vaults. If you do not know where to find the entrance to Heart of Fear, you can find it in Dread Wastes at this tree. The group setup that you will need is one tank, for obvious tanking purposes, one healer, one DPS with a pet that the player can heal, like a hunter or a warlock, and at least 2 or more DPS. DPS will be very important for some of the achievements within this raid, so make sure you don't have too little, although come Legion, this really will not be that much of a problem. The first achievement in this raid is Overzealous. This achievement is pretty easy. You're going to nuke her down to below 40% of her health, and then have all of your team pick up one of the parasites which spawn next to the large pillars in the room. Once picked up, it will give that individual player a debuff. Make sure every member of your team has the debuff, and then finish her off, then you will get the achievement. The next achievement in this raid is Candle in the Wind. Again, this achievement is not that hard. All you have to do is nuke down the boss to around 20% health, and then he will go into a wind phase. During this wind phase, you will be able to light 4 candles in total, with 2 on each side of the room. All 4 of these candles will need to be lit in order to get the achievement. To light these candles, you have to pick up a flame, which is located on the inside area of these pillars. Once you click on them, you will gain a limited time debuff. The way that we did it was pick up the flame and let the wind quickly carry us to the side that is needed to be lit. Once the first side has been done, have your team run to the other side and knock the boss's health down to around 10%. This will switch which way the wind is blowing, and you will be able to get the other 2 torches done pretty easily. After this, go and kill the boss, and you should get the achievement. Achievement number 3 is Like an Arrow to the Face. This one is, again, pretty simple. You need to kill Garalon without destroying any of his legs, so pretty much have your team focus him instead of his legs and nuke him down using single target abilities. It is important that no AoE is cast during this fight, as if you kill one leg you will not get the achievement. However, if you manage to do that, then you should get it no problem at all. On to achievement number 4. Less than 3. This boss can sometimes be a bit tricky, and he tends to deal a heck of a lot of damage. Pretty much what you are going to be doing is nuking down the boss while attempting to avoid the adds. Just like the last boss, it is important that you do not cast any AoE abilities, as if all 3 tribes die, you will not get the achievement. However, if you still kill 2 tribes and have 1 tribe remaining, it will still count. However, we found it better just to pop Time Warp or Bloodlust and nuke down the boss with single target abilities. The AoE is a little more flexible than the last boss, just try not to use too much of it. Over time, players within your team will become encased in amber, which will indefinitely stun them unless they are released. You can release them by walking up to them and clicking on the yellow armor on the outer side of their body, although after a certain amount of clicks, you will no longer be able to free them. It is best to keep an eye on your healer with this ability, as if your healer is stunned for too long, you will almost likely die. But assuming you manage to kill him with at least 1 tribe left, you will get that achievement. Now on to achievement number 5. I heard you like Amber. This achievement is considerably harder than the others and might take you a few attempts. The very first thing that you want to do is set down a marker. This marker will be where your entire team will be stacking up. Have your tank pull the boss and take her to the marker where your team is. After a few seconds, she will cast Amber Scalpel, which will spawn 4 amber blobs on the floor. You will have to kill these blobs immediately when they spawn, so they stack up on top of each other. Once killed, these blobs will create amber pools on the ground. Have your raid stand as close to the puddles as you can without actually standing inside them. If you stand inside the puddle, you will take a lot of damage. A few seconds later, one of your teammates will be transformed into an amber monstrosity. Your entire team will need to nuke that player down to 20% health, and then they will gain access to a 4th ability on their bar, which will transform them back to their player once clicked. Make sure that the player that is transformed does not press any of the yellow amber consuming abilities while transformed. Slam some DPS onto the boss on the add downtime, and then she will begin to cast her second scalpel again. Try and move these blobs as close to the other puddles as you can. As long as all the puddles are touching, it will count. Now, at about the same time, you will have noticed that the incredible Molten Hulk has just spawned. Your entire team will need to nuke this add down as fast as they can, as the boss will take heavily reduced damage while he is up. Once dead, she will probably have spawned another set of blobs, which you can drag onto your existing puddles if you messed one up. And again, look out for a player that has been transformed and nuke them down to 20% health. A little thing to note is if the players that have been transformed do not escape the transformation, they will eventually die. Pretty shortly after killing Fire Hulk, the boss should run to the center of the room and begin casting Draw Power. This is where you and your team will begin to unleash hell onto her. Pop all of your cooldowns and nuke her down until she dies. If your puddles are stacked up correctly, then you will get the achievement. And now for the 6th and last achievement within this raid. Here is where your DPS with a healable pet will be useful. That player will have to send in their pet to attack the boss. Nobody else in your team should attack the boss at all during this part of the fight. The reason why we send a pet in instead of a tank is that after a while, the player that is tanking it or has aggro will eventually be turned into a Sha, which will go around cleaving all the players in your raid group, pretty much nearly one-shotting them. Seeing as a pet is not a player and nobody has aggro, no players will be turned into a Sha, pretty much cheesing that ability. Once the pet has gained aggro, you will notice that the boss's energy bar is slowly decreasing. Once her energy is down to around 30 or 40, have your DPS nuke her down to just below 50% health. Once her energy reaches 0, she will call on adds. There are 2 big adds called Korthic Reavers, which are the main focus of this achievement. Bring both of these big adds down to an easily nearly one-shottable amount of health, then nuke them both down as fast as you can. If they die within 10 seconds of each other, you will get the achievement. After that, you can finish off the boss if you want for some loot, but it doesn't really matter. And that's it for this guide. It also marks the end of the Glory of the Pandaria Raider guides. I'd like to thank all of the guildies that gave up their time to come along and help with the achievements. Without them, this guide would not have been possible. All the names of those who helped will be in the description down below. Since we are going into Legion soon, it won't be as much of a hassle as it was doing it in this expansion, but either way, I hope these guides have helped you get this glorious mount. If they did, then please give this video a like. If you have any video ideas or feedback, post them in the comments down below, and if you want to see more content from me, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, goodbye.